Hello everybody, welcome to UK Gaming Network. I'm Brian, also known as UK Jens Zoidberg, and as I've been working on our annual Game of the Year content, which will be coming next week, I thought it'd be fun to count down my personal choices for the best 10 brand new Amiga games released in 2024. You may be surprised to learn that there are actually so many that narrowing it down to 10 has proven to be quite difficult, even after I've removed all of the demos and early test versions. Every single game included in this video can be downloaded either for free or for a small fee, and I'll be putting the links to where you can get them in the video description. They can also all be easily played on the A500 Mini. This is actually going to be my last video of 2024 as I take a short break over Christmas, but don't worry, I will be back in January with more great episodes of both Amiga Re-Review and Retro Game Super Leagues. Once again, a massive thank you to everybody who has watched me talk about Amiga games in 2024. As always, this is merely my opinion, and if you disagree with anything that I've said, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Electric Black Sheep are easily the busiest developer of 2024, having released 6 games. One of those was a remake of the old 8-bit game Tower of Evil, which was swiftly followed by this unofficial sequel released just in time for Halloween. You control a cat and must find your way through the levels, collecting artifacts that can help a recently deceased girl take revenge on the witch who killed her. I really liked the concept of controlling a defenseless character and having to use the ghost to attack the enemies. I also love the presentation, as it features excellent graphics, even if the cat is rather small, and a great soundtrack, especially if you play it from a hard drive or CD, but ultimately there's not quite enough of it for long-lasting appeal. This enjoyable monochrome puzzle game is based on a series of Flash games that began in 2008. The Amiga version comes from a developer called Haplo, who has already made a name for himself with the excellent Tenebra games that came out last year. Just like those games, Shift will test your brain and twist on its own rules in satisfying and fun ways. There are 44 levels to solve and an Amiga-only hidden bonus level, and they all manage to strike that balance where the solution hits you just before it becomes frustrating, which makes you feel like a genius. The fact that you can buy and download it for any price that you want feels like madness. As I said in my Christmas games video just 2 weeks ago, Santatron is an enjoyable cover disc giveaway with the latest issue of Amiga Addict. I'll put a link to their online store in the video description. Essentially, it's a snowy themed remake of the same developer's Roguecraft from 2022, and it succeeds where other similar shooters on the Amiga fail by offering a number of different control options, so that anyone will be able to find one that suits them. There's even an online leaderboard available on the developer's own website, where you can see how you rank against the community, and that's definitely an incentive to keep playing. Puzzle games live or die by how easy they are to learn, and the biggest problem for Glubble is the incredibly steep learning curve. You have 3 levels at the start where the game offers you the use of a hint button, which will teach you the rules, but after that you're on your own. I don't think I'm over-exaggerating here when I say that the puzzles are some of the most fiendishly difficult I've come across, but that only serves to make that eureka moment when you solve them all the more satisfying. I feel some will be put off by that difficulty, but the controls work brilliantly, and if you like a challenge, it's definitely one I would recommend. Let's face it, it's pretty hard to mess up Tetris, although some Amiga developers have given it a good attempt. Conversion specialist JOTD, who also brought Elevator Action, Gallagher and Moon Patrol to the A500 this year, has produced this pixel-perfect conversion of the 1988 Atari coin-op, and it is probably one of the best versions that I've played. Controls are responsive and there's a decent 2-player mode, but most importantly, the gameplay is as smooth and addictive as you'd want it to be. The only thing keeping it this far down the list is the fact that there are already a few really good versions of Tetris available on the Amiga. So do we really need another one? The 1991 release of Final Fight on the Amiga was okay at best, but this enhanced release shows just what could have been if US Gold hadn't rushed it to release. Using the original A500 version as its starting point, including the excellent soundtrack, this new version is much smoother, plays far better thanks to a 2-button controller support, and even has music and sound effects at the same time. Madness. There's also an extra playable character, Mackie from Final Fight 2, just for good measure. Fans of arcade brawlers like this have been pretty poorly served on the Amiga, but this finally shows what could have been done with a little effort and time. Best thing is that it's completely free to download. The first Amiga game by Mutation Software was released in 1990, but here we are 34 years later with their latest. As you can probably guess from the title, it's an arcade dungeon crawler, but perhaps the most surprising thing is just how fast the gameplay is. Anyone familiar with Mutation's Cyberpunk series will know that the action in those moves at a breakneck pace, and this game follows suit. There are some excellent graphical effects, such as the lighting in the dark underground levels, and it offers a decent challenge that will keep you coming back. It's a shame that you only get one life, and there are no level codes though. Roguecraft is a glossy remake of developer Badger Punch Games' very own Rogue 64, which I played multiple times on Evercade. Battle your way through a multi-level dungeon where the room layout is different every time you start. The isometric graphics are fantastic and full of atmosphere, and it's all accompanied by a decent tune as well. You can watch my full review for more details, but there are only a couple of things holding it back. Once you've finished it with all 3 characters, there's no in-game reason to keep playing, which is a shame. A little more randomisation or some leaderboards would have certainly helped in this regard. Don't let that put you off from playing it though, as this is an excellent game worth every penny of the asking price. The number 2 and 3 games on this list swapped places so many times as I put together this video that if you ask me tomorrow, they'll probably be back the other way around again. Another game that I have a full review of on this channel, Dr. Dangerous, is an excellent puzzle platformer that can quite happily sit alongside some of the best on the Amiga. Working out how to successfully complete a level is very much trial and error, and my only real gripe is the lack of checkpoints on the longer levels. Thankfully, this is balanced out by the inclusion of level codes that you must actually find, allowing you to start from the last one reached whenever you load the game up. If you like a platform game, this is one I would definitely recommend buying. Developer AAA were already on my radar thanks to a game called Lumo, released on modern consoles, that was very much a love letter to the games of John Rittman and Ultimate. So no surprise that I liked Cecconoid as much as I did. Inspired by the work of famed programmer Raphael Cecco, particularly his Spectrum classic Cybernoid, this brilliant flick-screen shooter still has some fairly modern sensibilities, despite the monochromatic look. You can shoot in all 8 directions thanks to well-implemented controls that you can personalise to your own taste, and it's hard as nails but never unfair. There's even a full-blown Lamatron-style bonus game included, making it possibly the best £10 I've spent on any game, Amiga or otherwise, this year. That's it for another list. Please let me know what your best 10 is in the comments. Don't forget that you can suggest topics for upcoming episodes in the comments, and please make sure that you come back next week for the special year-end edition of our podcast, UKGM Waffles, where we discuss our favourite games of the past 12 months. Please make sure to give us a like and subscribe to show your support for the channel. Until next time, happy retro gaming. Bye for now.